Sometime in the last few weeks, a text arrived on your phone. Your payment went through. Maybe $80, maybe $140 for the whole family. You didn't open it. Almost nobody does. Then you put the phone back in your pocket and went right on using the thing you just paid for, without really knowing what it was. Not the phone. You're paying that off separately, on its own line of the bill. So what did that money actually buy? Here is the strange part of that question. You can point at almost everything else you pay for. The car in the driveway, the roof over your head. But if someone asked you to point at what your phone bill buys, you would probably point at the bars in the corner of the screen. Bars. That's it. A picture of something you cannot see, cannot touch, and do not own. And almost every adult in this country carries a phone that somebody pays for every month. On autopay, mostly without looking. One of the largest recurring payments in American life. And hardly anybody knows where it goes. Think about the neighbors on both sides of you. Everyone at your job. Everyone in line at the grocery store. All of them are sending money to a phone company this month, same as you. So do some simple math, purely hypothetical, to see the shape of it. Imagine 10 million people, each paying $50 a month. That is $500 million in 1 month. $6 billion in a year. And the real companies are far bigger than that. T-Mobile now reports more than 142 million customers. Though that word customers is doing more work than you think. In the company's own accounting, it counts connections, not people. Phones, yes, but also tablets, watches, and home internet boxes, which sounds like the easiest business ever invented. It isn't, and the reason is something you have already lived through. Think about the last time you were somewhere crowded. A stadium, a concert, fireworks on the 4th of July. You pulled out your phone to send a picture, and you had full bars, full signal, and absolutely nothing happened. The little circle just spun. Because you were not out of signal, you were in line. Everyone around you was reaching for the same thing at the same moment, and there was only so much to go around. Which means what you buy every month is not really service, it is a share. Think of it like a highway. The road does not belong to you. You did not build it, and you cannot take it home. You have the right to drive on it whenever you want. At 2 in the morning, it feels like it is all yours. At 5 in the afternoon, you are sitting still, staring at brake lights, on the exact same road. Your phone bill buys you a lane, and the business rests on how many people can be sold a lane on the same road. Here is the second thing that makes this unlike anything else you pay for. When was the last time you actually shopped for a phone plan, not glanced at an ad? Actually sat down, compared plans, and switched? For most people, the answer is years ago. Some cannot remember at all. You will haggle over a car, you will shop your insurance every couple of years, but the phone bill just goes, every month, on its own. That is not an accident. That is the product. A restaurant has to convince you to walk back in tomorrow. A phone company had to convince you once, around a birthday or a broken screen, and then it collects for years while you do nothing at all. And all of those people are now doing something with the network that would have seemed impossible when they signed up. They are watching television on it. The kids in the back seat on a long drive, each watching something different. A video call with a grandparent. A ball game streaming at a job site. 20 years ago, that phone sent a text the size of a grain of sand. Today, it pulls down movies. And every one of those videos has to travel. It leaves a building hundreds of miles away, crosses cables, climbs a tower, and lands on your screen in about a second. In 2024, Americans moved 132 trillion megabytes of data across those networks. The year before, it was 100 trillion. That was the third year running that total traffic grew by roughly a third, and it was not because there were many more customers. It was the same people asking for far more. So every time you press play, you are helping to fill it. And when it fills up, somebody has to go build more. You have driven past it 1,000 times without noticing. The tower behind the gas station, the one on top of the church, the fake pine tree on the highway with branches that do not look quite right, the gray boxes bolted to a streetlight downtown. By the most recent industry count, there were more than 440,000 cell sites operating across this country. And those are sites, not structures. A single tower can carry equipment for several carriers at once, each renting its own space. More than a third of those sites are not towers at all. They are small units mounted on streetlights, rooftops, and utility poles, squeezed into crowded places where the big towers ran out of room. And none of them are free to simply exist. Somebody owns the land and gets paid rent every month. The equipment had to be bought and installed. Cable has to run from that site back to the rest of the network. And the power never goes off. Not at 3 in the morning, not on Christmas. That site is drawing electricity and waiting. Over the past decade, the American wireless industry has averaged more than $30 billion a year in building, upgrading, and maintaining all of it. And it never gets to stop. But money can build a tower. There is one thing money cannot simply build, and it is the most expensive thing in the business. Think about an old car radio. You turn the dial and land on a station. Turn it a little more, and you land on a different one. In between, static. There are only so many spots on that dial. And two stations cannot sit on the same one without ruining each other. Your phone is doing the same thing. It talks to that tower on one specific slice of the airwaves, and that dial is only so long. Every useful stretch of it is already assigned to somebody. Air traffic control, the military, satellites, television, the Wi-Fi in your house, and the phone companies. So when a carrier needs more room, it cannot pour a new lane of concrete. It has to wait for a regulator to reclaim a slice from somebody else and sell it, or buy the rights from a company that already holds them. In 2021, the federal government auctioned a band of mid-range airwaves, the sweet spot where a signal still travels a useful distance and carries a lot while it does. The bidding passed $81 billion, still the most any spectrum auction has ever raised in this country. $81 billion. For invisible frequency. No towers, no customers, no equipment, just licenses to use a slice of the air. Then in July of 2026, AT&T closed a deal to buy spectrum licenses from EchoStar, the company behind Dish and Boost Mobile, for about $23 billion, roughly 50 megahertz, nationwide. And AT&T borrowed billions of dollars in loans to help pay for it. That is the strangest thing hiding in your phone bill. Part of it is going toward the price of thin air, because that is the one thing nobody can simply make more of when demand goes up. Go back to that highway, because this is where the money is made or lost. A road costs the same whether it is empty or packed. At 3 in the morning, it is beautiful. It is also earning nothing. At rush hour, it is crawling, and everybody on it is furious. That tower behind the gas station costs the same every month, whether it is carrying 2 people or 2,000. The rent does not drop. The power bill does not drop. So an empty site is a bill with nothing coming in against it. But a full one is a different problem. That is your video freezing at the stadium. That is the call that will not connect at the county fair. And people do not blame the crowd. They blame the company. Then they leave. So the whole game is keeping those sites busy, but never too busy. And people do not spread out evenly. A site on a quiet country road can sit half asleep all day while one downtown is buried at lunchtime. Which finally explains a word you have seen on your bill for years and never questioned. Unlimited. It is in every commercial, and it means something real. You are not going to get a surprise charge for watching one more episode. But think about your own household. Somebody in your family barely touches the phone. The weather, a few texts, and that is a whole month. Somebody else under that same roof is streaming 6 hours a day. Same plan, same price. Wildly different amounts of the network used. And that is a big part of the idea. The company is not pricing you. It is pricing all of you together. The light users balance out the heavy ones, and it averages into something the network can actually carry. Think of it like an all-you-can-eat buffet. Nobody eats their weight in food. The restaurant is pricing the room, not the person. Plans are not identical, and carriers manage this in different ways. On many of them, once a heavy user passes a certain amount, their data can be slowed where the network is busy. That is written into the plan, and it is the pressure valve that lets one simple price work for millions of very different people. Do you actually know how many gigabytes you used last month? Or do you only know that your plan says unlimited? Most people know the word. Very few know the number. And if you think the customer is always a person holding a phone, you are missing an enormous part of this business. You walked past 100 of them today. The delivery driver at your door had a scanner in his hand. That scanner is on a network. So is his van. The card reader at the farmer's market. The tablet the waitress carries to your table, the school bus, the ambulance, the fire truck. None of those is somebody's personal phone. Some sit on business accounts, some on government contracts. Some are devices folded into a larger service deal, but they are all riding on somebody's network, and somebody is paying for that. And here is why carriers want it. When a company signs up, it does not bring one line, it brings hundreds, sometimes thousands, an entire fleet of trucks, every register in every store, and then it stays. You could switch carriers over a weekend if you got annoyed enough. But a delivery company that has built its whole operation on one network, every scanner, every route, is not moving. That would mean shutting down for a week. That is money that arrives every month and rarely leaves. And the next connection does not have to be a person at all. Look around your house. The doorbell camera, the watch on your wrist, the car in the driveway, quietly downloading updates and ready to call for help if you crash. The water meter outside, the vending machine at work that says when it is empty. Individually, these are almost nothing. Many pay a few cents to a couple of dollars a month. Nobody is getting rich off a water meter, but they do not complain about the price. They do not call to cancel. They do not see a competitor's commercial. That meter can sit there paying quietly for 10 years. And remember those 142 million customers that were really connections, not people? Stretch that across the whole country, and you get around 580 million wireless connections, roughly 1.7 for every person in it. Most people do not own 2 phones. So if the money keeps arriving on its own, why does the spending never stop? Think about a stretch of road you drive all the time where the signal used to drop. Same spot, every day. Mid-sentence, gone. And then one day it didn't. Somebody built something there, and it cost real money. That spending does several jobs at once, adding capacity where traffic is growing, filling coverage where it is thin, replacing equipment as the technology turns over from 4G to 5G and on to whatever is next, keeping the whole thing steady enough that you stop noticing it. But notice what that did not do. It did not win them a single new customer. You were already paying. A large share of this money is not spent chasing somebody new. It is spent making sure the people already on the network never get a good enough reason to leave, which raises the question of what you are actually worth to them. You have probably seen this yourself, without realizing it. Call to cancel. Say you are leaving. Suddenly there is an offer, a credit on the bill, a free line, a better phone, a supervisor who is very interested in keeping you. Here is the math behind that phone call. $50 a month for 5 years is $3,000. But that is revenue, not profit, and the gap between those two words is the whole story. Out of that $3,000 comes the discounted phone they handed you at sign-up, the advertising that reached you, what the store made for closing the deal, the cost of carrying your traffic every month, the people who answer when you call, a share of the towers, the airwaves, and the debt behind them. And most of the cost of winning you lands up front, long before you have paid any of it back. So a customer who leaves after 3 months may never cover what it costs to get them. One who stays for years has time to pay all of that back, and then keep going. Now scale it. A monthly churn rate of around 1%, which is roughly where the big carriers run, still means hundreds of thousands of people walking away every month, all of whom have to be replaced before the company has grown by even one. Which is exactly why that offer appears the second you say the word cancel. So take that payment from the beginning and pull it apart. Some becomes rent on the ground under a tower. Most of the towers you drive past are not owned by your phone company. It rents space on them, like everybody else. Some becomes electricity at hundreds of thousands of sites, running all night. Some pays for the equipment on them, and the fiber that hauls your traffic back. Some pays for spectrum bought years ago, and the interest on the money borrowed to buy it. Some pays the crew in the bucket truck, the person who helped you in the store, the person who picked up when you called. Then taxes. And what survives all of that is far smaller than most people assume. Billions, yes. But those billions are what is left after hundreds of billions of dollars of revenue have paid for the machine. Which brings us back to the text message you never opened. You did not buy a tower. You did not buy spectrum. You did not buy a cable. You did not buy the network. You bought access to it. For 1 month, alongside everybody else. The remarkable part was never that one customer pays a lot. You don't. $80 is nothing against a system that costs tens of billions to build and run. The remarkable part is that the same tower, the same fiber, the same slice of air is being rented right now to you, to your neighbors, to millions of people you will never meet, to the delivery fleet, the card reader, the ambulance, and the car in your driveway. All at the same time, without being built again for any of them. The network is expensive to build once, but access to that network can be sold millions of times. That is how a phone bill becomes billions of dollars. If this changed the way you look at your own phone bill, subscribe to Industry Hidden Truth. We take the biggest industries in the world apart and show you the money underneath.